never know. When we pour into our children, you really never know what you're going to need in the days to come. Who would have thought that that would have been the thing that anchored me that day, that gave me peace and gave me direction? But still, I was on a journey that was going to become very, very dark, and it did. The first day that I really began to lose my eyesight was on Christmas morning. Imagine the gift. And I can remember falling in my husband's arms saying, oh my gosh, I can't see. And he just held me tightly and he said, we will not retreat. That was his first thing he told me. And it really has given me an idea too of what covenant love's about. It never backs up or gives up. And that's sort of the course we've been on as a family. I'd give anything to see the faces of my children and the face of my husband and to see all of your faces. But I'll tell you what, in my darkest hour, vision was birthed. And when you have vision, you can see in the darkest places of life. And that's one thing, even with this business, when I heard it explained to me the first time, heard about the doctors, heard about, what could happen and what was already happening, I said, oh my gosh, you'd be blind not to take advantage of this. And so I began to live a life that I didn't know if I could live, really. How could I ever be the wife my husband needed, the mother my children needed, and who's going to call me to carpool? And then it's been over the last couple of years that I've really realized, I speak around the nation. I can be very humorous. You're laughing one minute, you cry the next. But my point is this, that most people live life based only on what they see. And to all of us tonight, if you're living life that way, based only on what you see, it'll always be limited and disappointing. But when you live life with vision, hey, sky's the limit. And the one thing I want more than anything in this company, I love the skincare, that's awesome. I love meeting all of you, that's great. I want to grow and develop because I love leaders. I want to develop leaders. And that's what my team's all about. I tell my team we've got two things that we offer, and that's it. We offer a solution if someone needs it, and we offer a gift. That's a business. And I'll tell you what, both of those, how can you turn those down? And when you are all about people, that's what real leadership's about. And leadership always has vision, because we are leading the pack towards something. And the thing I want more than anything, the Lexus, we are going to make a big deal when I get that. Because the bottom line is, if I can, you can. And that's what we say to all of our people, because really, we're living in a world where people have lost hope. And hope always sees. It's like when life hits you at eye level, hope puts you on your tippy toes to look around and say, hey, there's more. So, it's good. And then one thing I'll just tell you, since I have this captive audience. Right now I'm in the middle of a 15-state, 25-event speaking tour, and I love people, but my passion is leaders. And so I'll tell you a story that I've been finishing with. Actually, I'll tell you a story that I think would help all your businesses real fast. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Louisiana, and it was my first time to speak at a football stadium. I was really excited. Like in my mind's eye, that place was jam-packed. Okay, so maybe there were a couple hundred. It didn't matter to me, though. In my mind's eye, it was packed. So as my husband was escorting me out to the field, I said, where will I be standing? Because I was the keynote. He said, will you be on the field? Duh, I know that. I said, well, where on the field? He said, 50-yard line. And I went, perfect. It came to me all of a sudden. So I was there, I greeted the people and warmed them up, and I had them laughing, and I introduced myself. I'm Gail from Dallas, Texas. Tell a little about my story, and then I said, I think it's interesting and even prophetic and profound that I'm standing here on the 50-yard line today, where most people live. I said, in between two goals. I said, one represents a loss, the other one, a victory. And I said, this is where most people live, hoping someone else will play the game for them, hoping somebody else will put forth the effort to head towards the goals that they want. And after a while, they're overwhelmed, confused, and just walk off the field and sit on a bench. And then I said, what would it take for all of you to get back on the field of life and play it with all your might? Wow.
That's awesome.
Okay. Go for it.
And they all like
And one last thing I'll tell you is that a lot of times, this is even requested anymore, but a lot of times I end a meeting or wherever I'm speaking with this, from top officials that I've spoken to whomever I'm talking with. But true story, one day a friend called me and she said, Gail, I want to give you a gift. I was so excited because I knew it had to be perfume. My favorite is perfume. And this friend knew me well. She said, I want to take you to the movies. Literally, I moved the phone from my head, I looked skyward and went, oh God, are these the only friends you could send me? Why would you take a blind woman to the movies, right? As a gift. So she heard my hesitancy and she said, oh no, you'll love it. It's about an elderly couple and great dialogue. And I said, okay. I said, you want me to pick you up? She said, no, I'll pick you up. So she came, she picked me up, took me to this sad, sad movie. And I cried all the way through it. I was blowing my nose and wiping my tears, even when the movie was over. And so after the movie, I reached out to take my friend's arm to walk up the aisle and then up to this corridor of this large theater in Dallas. And so I'm standing there just trying to pull myself back together, and she turns and looks at me and she said, I have to go to the restroom, do you? I said, no, that's okay. I said, you go on. She said, are you sure? I said, yeah, you just go on, I'll be fine. I'm just going to get myself back together. She said, okay. So after a little bit of blowing my nose and wiping my tears, finally I'm pulling it back together, getting ready for the day. And I could tell that people were walking back and forth in front of me. And I perceived I might be in the way. So I stepped back 2 big steps, and I stepped over 2 big steps to get out of the way. And still no friend. I stood there for the longest time, and then I thought, why not? I'm here. I started greeting people. Hi. Hello. Have a good day. Because I could just perceive, where they were walking. So I just thought, hey, have a good one. And after quite a while, my friend finally came back and she said, Gail, what are you doing? You're standing in the men's restroom. Yeah, and people will say to me, oh, I walked in the wrong restroom. Yeah, but you didn't stay there for a long time. And clean everything. So this is what I say, just occupy it. You don't know where you are right now, just occupy it. Because in time, you'll find out where you need to be. And in the meantime, you're going to make a memory and make the most of it. So,
That's
Woo! Thanks, Gail.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Love you guys. I'll see